100.3 Phillies R&B station. DNA sitting here with the chosen one, NBA legend and Hall of Famer Ben Wallace. How you doing, boss man?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. We'll get right into it. Let's start with 1996, the year you entered the what is arguably the most deepest NBA draft of all time. AI, Kobe, Ray Allen, Steve Nash, Stojakovic. The list goes on. Talk us through not getting your name called that night, and do you feel like all hope was lost at that point?
Like you said, that was one of the most talented drafts, that I think, we've ever had. But if you didn't get your name called in that draft, the player in you and the competitor in you knows why, but there's always a little disappointment. So, but by me not getting drafted, it sort of worked in my favor a little bit. So I was able to try out for multiple teams. So if I would have got drafted, I would only be able to try out for one team that year. So
Mm.
it allowed me to try out for the Celtics and for the Bullets.
Right. Wes Unseld called you while you were in Italy. That eventually landed you in Washington. Then you did a year in Orlando. The bulk of it in Detroit. You went from the Bulls to Cleveland and then back to Detroit. Apart from winning that championship, why do you feel like Detroit was the best team that you ever played for?
Detroit was one of those teams where they allowed me to come in and just be myself, no expectations. You know, with the Grant Hill trade, if it wasn't for Grant Hill, nobody would even know my name coming to Detroit. So it just gave me an opportunity to relax and just play my game with no expectation. And after the organization and the fans and everybody realized that I was capable of going out there and getting a job done, they did a great job of rallying behind me. I was able to go to Chicago. I had a good time in Chicago. Had a pretty, solid experience there. Had a great experience in Cleveland. But Detroit was the place where, the fans got behind me, the city got behind me. It was the first time that I really felt like that, other than my family and friends, that I had a support group that would rally for me.
So much so that a sneaker company wanted you to be the face of their brand. Talk about signing with and one, and how did you feel like your game style ultimately complemented their brand?
I think And1 is one of those brands where, you know, um, game style really doesn't matter. I hung my hat on defense and getting it done on the defensive end. And, a lot of time we hear people say that, defensive caliber players don't sell shoes. Big men don't sell shoes. But it doesn't matter what type of shoes you wear, no matter what team you're on. When you step out on the floor and you drive into that basket and you get bumped, and you create contact. You throw the ball up, the first thing you holler is and one. Everybody's looking for the and one. So and one represent, basketball, not just one style of basketball, but all phases. Definitely represent the street style of basketball.
So when you got those shoes, the chosen ones, you said in the documentary that you only had two pair, one that you wore at home and one that you wore on the road. You weren't superstitious, but why did you feel like you only wanted to wear those two pairs?
It was one of those things where the shoe was working. We was having a great season. We was hitting on all cylinders. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The shoes wasn't, they wasn't leaning, they wasn't rolling. They was kept me balanced and kept me on, kept me flat on my feet. So, I just rolled with it. So we was able to win a championship. So I say we're gonna give those shoes some credit.
Hang them up in a trophy case, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they just as much just as more important than any other trophy that goes in my trophy case. Because you need a good pair of shoes to get you where you need to go, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I was doing my homework about the accolades that you received as an undrafted player. The first undrafted player to be in the Hall of Fame, the first undrafted player to start in an NBA All-Star game, and the first undrafted player to play 1,000 games. But they also left one of these things out. The first undrafted player to grace the cover of a video game. This video game turned the tide for basketball players. This is the official video game in which we transformed from live to now 2K. Talk about that experience for you, how it was getting that call, knowing that you were going to grace the cover of a transcendent game.
It was a great experience for me, especially for the fact that they kind of downplayed it a little bit. I didn't have no idea I was going to be on the cover. I just thought I was going to, probably get a feature or something, on the game. So, but when I got there and I saw the setup and the magnitude of what was going on, I was like, wow, there's something big. And when I found out I was going to be on the cover, man, it was one of those amazing feelings because we talk about legacy and making your mark and leaving your mark. That's a legacy that's going to live forever. As long as 2K is existing. They can always go back and pull up that 2K5.
Oh, it's the only thing that exists right now. And when we talk about the best 2Ks of all time, this one right here is where it starts at. This is that one that gave us that what we know now today is that simulation, that real feel style. So you'll always be etched in video game history, but even in basketball history, you etch your legacy as a first Hall of Famer to be inducted in the Hall of Fame as an undrafted player. Can you talk about that day, where you were at? How did you feel when you got that call to let them know that you were going to be inducted?
I was at home, man. When I got the call, I was at home, just sitting there watching a little TV, and it was an amazing feeling, but it was a surreal feeling because you don't really know how to act or how to celebrate or what really went into you becoming a Hall of Fame. Then when you stop and think about that, you had to be judged by your peers, the ones that came before you, and to get the nod to be able to become inducted into the Hall of Fame, it means that much more that people think about me in that high of a light that they think I would deserve to be a Hall of Fame.
When you got ready for the game, was there a song or artist that always got you hyped up, ready to go?
When we was making our run, man, one of the songs, one of the artists was T.I. Stand Up.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Who was the most no nonsense player that you've ever played with?
The most nonsense player, a lot of people gonna think Rasheed Wallace, but it was actually Tayshaun Prince.
Okay, he came in ready to go, hard helmet, no nonsense, ready to work.
No nonsense, straight out of Compton.
Okay, who was the funniest player that you've ever played with?
The funniest player I ever played with without even trying to be was Rip Hamilton.
Really?
When he's not trying to be funny, he's the funniest.
Okay, and who was the smartest player that you've ever played with?
I think the two smartest players I ever played with, one was Chauncey Billups, and the two was LeBron. Playing with Bron in Cleveland. You know, young LeBron. And
Mm.
just seeing his basketball IQ, was amazing to see a young guy have that type of basketball talent. As far as thinking the game and seeing plays and stuff before it happened.
If you could play for any NBA team today to help them win a championship, who would that team be?
Um, I think the team that my game would most fit today would probably be Philly. With Embiid on the block. I think I could get around the basket and make some things happen with a big post player on the block like Embiid. But I say any team with a post player, team that's gonna feed the post and allow guys to work down low, give me an opportunity to do my thing.
Okay, okay. Is there any player in the league today that you feel like reminds you of you?
Remind me of me. Um, I say not because of their style of play, but because of how they had to come into the league and how they had to make a name for themselves and prove the fact that they deserve to be here would be Van Fleet, a guy that came into the league relatively unknown and had to work his way through the rank and prove that he's a champion in his league. So I would say Van Fleet.
And last but not least, man, just give the kids some advice. Anybody watching this right now who got hoop dreams and want to make it to the league at any stage of their life, whether they middle school, high school, college, what do you got for them?
Oh man, just keep dreaming, man. Just keep dreaming, keep working, dream big, dream so big that nobody else can put your flame out but yourself, man. Understand that we got a lot of different catchphrases for um, for self-esteem, confidence, cockiness, just know that it's not cockiness, it's not confidence, it's what you have to be. And that's believing in yourself in order to get to the next level. So please believe in yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Wallace, thank you so much for your time, boss man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. 100.3 Phillies R&B. We out of here.